Okay, so welcome back to our Emunah class. It's based on the book Just One Word Emunah. So you don't want two books? So Thank you. Just One Word Emunah. Today with Rabbi Itai Yitzhak Ben Shirayafa, who is going to lead us into this class. Bezrat Hashem is very excited. So before we start, I want to dedicate that class. Do you have any person you want to dedicate that class to?
We can always just dedicate
Tal
it to
Yaakov Ben Sarah, Bezrat Hashem, Refuah Shelema. Noah Ben Sloan, Bezrat Hashem. And we're going to dedicate that class also for Rabbi Shalom Dov Ber Ben Rachel Beila, Rabbi Lipsker. Eliyahu Hanavi Ben Tita Esther, Yosef Ishai Ben Daniel Miriam, and Raphael Chaimir Ben Simach Hasha, and Eleni Orna Batren Chana. And for the Hatzlacha of our Chayalim, Bezrat Hashem, and the protection and redemption very, very soon, Bezrat Hashem, of all the other Chatufim. So let's do one perek. שיר המעלות, אשרי כל ירא אדוני, העולר בדרכיו, יגיע כפיך כי תאכל אשריך וטוב לך, אשתך כגפן פוריה בירכתי וביתך, בניך כשתילי זיתים סביב לשולחנך, הנה כן יבורר גבר ירא אדוני, יברכך אדוני מציון, וראה בטוב ירושלים כל ימי חייך, וראה בנים לבניך שלום על ישראל. So today we're February 4th, and we are about to continue our first chapter of Just One Word Emunah. We were speaking about the fact that Emunah is not a gift from birth. It is a skill that we can learn to master. And this first chapter of the book is dedicated to that, mastering the skills. So we are page 45, if I'm right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Understanding the mitzvah. Would you like to start reading?
Sure.
And can I put the camera on you? Okay.
It's the mitzvah of Emunah mentioned in the Torah. The Rambam explains that the mitzvah of Emunah is the first mitzvah in the Ten Commandments. Anochi Hashem Elokecha Asher
Hotzietcha me'eretz Mitzrayim.
I am Hashem, your God, who took you out of the land of Egypt. The Rambam disagrees. He claims that Emunah is the foundation of the entire Torah and mitzvot. Our whole Yiddishkeit is based on Emunah. Without faith, a person is not a Yid. It's the root of every mitzvah, not a commandment on its own. The Nesivot Shalom reconciles the opinions of the Rambam and the Ramban. He explains clearly and beautifully as follows. Emunah is present in the heart of every Jew. It's the air a Jew breathes. It's the foundation on which his life as a Jew is based. But working on having Emunah, training oneself to think with Emunah, reading about Emunah, talking with Emunah, that is the mitzvah of Anochi Hashem. Therefore, even if a Jew doesn't achieve complete faith, as long as he's working on having Emunah, he is fulfilling the mitzvah perfectly, and he can merit salvation, as it says, walk about in the streets of Yerushalayim and look. If you will find a man who seeks faith, then I will forgive her. Hashem promises that as long as a person strives to be a Baal Emunah, even if he hasn't yet reached high levels, he will forgive him and help him. It's sufficient that he is sincerely trying and working on it. He receives reward for every bit of effort he makes to strengthen his faith. The Nesivot Shalom goes on to explain that the mitzvah of Emunah is divided into two parts. The two parts together form the basis of our Emunah and they are found in the mitzvah of Anochi Hashem. It says, Anochi Hashem Elohim.
Sorry.
I am Hashem, your God, who took you out of the land of Egypt. Why does Hashem introduce himself as the one who took us out of Egypt? He doesn't mention a word about creating the world. We would have expected him to say, Anochi Hashem
אלוקיך,
Elohecha
אשר בראתי את השמיים ואת הארץ.
I am Hashem your God, who created the heavens and the earth. Isn't the creation of the world more monumental than the exodus from Egypt? The Nesivot Shalom clarifies that Anochi Hashem means I am Hashem who created the world. This is the first part of the mitzvah of Emunah, to believe that I, Hashem, created the entire world and all living beings, and I control everything that happens in the world all the time. But then there is another fundamental part of Emunah, and that is Asher.
הוצאתי אותך מארץ מצרים.
At the liberation from Egypt, Hashem saved a whole nation, men, women, and children, freeing them from slave labor, persecution, and torture after 210 years. Hashem performed open miracles for them until they reached the Yam Suf, where he completely changed the laws of nature. The sea split, allowing the Yidden to pass, and then the waters came together again onto the Egyptians who had pursued them. At this time, the nation wasn't worthy of Hashem's kindness. In fact, they had no merits to deserve being helped. They had fallen to the lowest spiritual level, the 49th level of Tumah. As they walked through dry land in the middle of the Red Sea,
The Red Sea.
Hashem began to drown the Egyptians. The prosecuting angels argued, "Why are you saving the Jews? They worship idols. They're sinners just as much as the Egyptians." That is when Hashem showed everyone that the Jewish people are his children. It doesn't matter if they are deserving or if they are sinners. As long as they rely on me, I will look after them. Even without any merits, as long as Jews believe that their Father will save them, he will. Yetziat Mitzrayim was the greatest miracle that Hashem ever performed for Am Yisrael at the time when they were sinking deep into impurity. This is the foundation of our Emunah. We have a special mitzvah requiring us to talk about Yetziat Mitzrayim every day, to mention it in Shema and in Kiddush. This is because internalizing that Hashem does miracles for us, regardless of whether we deserve it or not, is the very basis of our Emunah. And this applies to every individual always. The second part of Emunah is just as significant as the first part. Knowing that Hashem is in control and that no one can do anything without his consent and that he can perform miracles is not enough. We must assure ourselves that even if we are not deserving, he will help us out because he loves each one of us like a father loves his firstborn child. As Hashem had lovingly referred to us, B'nai,
בכורי ישראל.
my firstborn son is Yisrael. As long as we turn to Hashem for help and we sincerely believe that he will help us, he will help us, regardless of our level in Yiddishkeit. This is bitachon. We can stop worrying because he will be there for us always. When we work on believing this, we are also fulfilling the mitzvah of Tamim Tiyeh.
תהיה עם השם אלוקיך.
You shall be wholeheartedly with Hashem. You shall be wholehearted with Hashem, your God. As Rashi explains, we should not worry about what might transpire. Just being a Yid is the greatest reason to jump for joy. We need only rely on our Father, and he will help us regardless of whether one is a tzaddik or the greatest sinner. He is the kindest Father who looks deep into our heart and reads our thoughts. The sincere emunah he finds there outweighs any amount of sin.
Wow, beautiful. Does it inspire? Do you want to speak about that a little bit? Do you want to share something about that?
Well, it's just beautiful. That I think it's just a beautiful
I love
thing
that-
that Hashem loves you, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Exactly. There's gonna be an entire chapter about that, I think, a little bit later. But I wanna put an emphasis on the fact that there are two steps in Emunah. The first step is knowing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the creator of everything, right? That's one thing. That's the first step in Emunah. Having Emunah, that's the Ani Hashem Elokecha. I don't even need Anochi Hashem Elokecha. I don't even need to say that I created the earth and the sky and everything, because this is included in that. This is Hashem. And what I think is also very interesting